There are a ton of World War II games out there, and there are a ton of mecha games out there. There are even a healthy number of World War II mecha games in the world. Tanasurga brings a breath of fresh air to this particular subgenre, courtesy of Rain Man Studios and Niji Games, with a focus on narrative, relationships between characters, and the personal costs of smoke-belching alternate history warfare. The game's RPG combat and hand-drawn visual style are reminiscent of Warsaw, but Tanasurga allows for conversations between the player and their soldiers, potentially allowing for a deeper connection with them. Whether the pilots of Tanasurga get a happier ending than their polished counterparts remains to be seen. We'll have to wait until August to find out. On Steam. In Moki's software debut title, the sun has vanished from the sky, and a band of heroes sets off to fight evil and maybe save the world from its impending doom. As the hero's guardian angel, you won't be able to influence battle directly, but instead, Grimroad is heavily stylized with a black and white color palette that gives it a pixelated Darkest Dungeons mid-outside look.
So let us pray.
Grimroad heralds Artemis in 2022 on Steam. In Outlandia, the player controls a wizard tasked with protecting a small town from corrupting forces. This isn't a far-flung quest to retrieve MacGuffins from the edges of the world though. You'll be staying at home in Scala Village, getting to know the villagers and helping them thrive. Fans of Stardew Valley and Graveyard Keeper will no doubt enjoy Outlandia, as it has the same style of town building and crafting gameplay that has made those titles so beloved. Where it departs from its predecessors is its turn-based combat, a life or death affair based around exploiting animal weaknesses, even though it won't be released until August of 2023. Outlandia could be the next game in this beloved subgenre renaissance. On Steam. The original Robozarro was a physics-based side-scroller whose grab and blast system allowed for plenty of mechatronic mayhem. The sequel, Robozarro 2 Operation Atlantic, brings the grab and blast mechanics into turn-based JRPG battles. Pulling weapons and environmental objects from your opponent's side of the screen over to yours and shooting them back will create a plethora of explosive effects. Robozarro 2 allows players to install upgrades and chips on their robotic protagonist, making loot and equipment the focus of progression. The futuristic wasteland in which the game takes place is full of locations to visit, all of which are inspired by real-world places in Chicago. There is not yet a firm release date for Robozarro 2, so it could still be a while before it's available, but it should certainly be worth a try once it is. On Steam. Unshaken is an ambitious game that could turn out to be the coolest thing ever. In this fantasy game, players will plan their strategy on a hex-based map, engaging or avoiding enemies as the situation demands. When battle is joined, they'll be dropped into first-person battles in VR. That's right, Unshaken is the closest we'll probably ever come to actually fighting trolls, dragons and other fantasy beasts. Needless to say, Unshaken will require a VR headset to play. With early access planned for sometimes in 2022, it could make for a compelling reason to finally invest in a VR rig. On Steam. It's been a delight over the last several years to see praise story in video games that doesn't look like it came out of a Flintstones episode. Dawn of Man, Ancestors, and to an extent Humankind all highlight the challenges of our early forebears, and the ancients look to continue the tradition. As the different clans of your tribe wander the hex base map, their experiences will shape their culture, leading to an engaging, emergent narrative. Harsh environments, dangerous animals, and personal conflicts are just some of the challenges players will face during a typical campaign in the Ancients. The Ancients is expected to enter early access in Q2 of 2022 on Steam.
Return to the world of Circle Empires.
2080's Cycle Empires received acclaim as an RTS that actually did something new. With each map consisting of interconnected circular nodes, the tides of battle could quickly turn as armies marched from one circle to the next. Now the game is getting a team-based companion with Circle Empires tactics.
Expand your magical arsenal.
In this iteration of Circle Empires, players will issue orders to their units at the same time, who will then simultaneously attempt to carry them out. Anticipating your opponent's decisions and knowing how to counter them will be the game's key tactic. The game is scheduled to release in 2022, but considering that Luminous has already held a pre-release tournament, it's a sound bet the game will become available sooner rather than later on Steam.
I met a traveler from...
Okay, by a show of hands, how many of you immediately heard Leonard Nimoy saying, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings," in your head when you read that title? I can't see you, but considering you are here at TBL, there's a good chance you've played Civ 4 and have your hand up right now. Although it still has no firm release date, Ozymandias brings simultaneous turns and streamlined 4x gameplay to the Bronze Age. Ancient history buffs will no doubt have a field day exploring what might have been with the game's 52 playable empires. Its simple but eye-catching visuals make sure everything pops that needs to do so. No release date has been announced, but players can request playtest access from the game's Steam page on Steam. Who doesn't love a good heist? In the first title from Koei Snowman Games, players can steal all sort of fabulous treasure right from under the noses of their marks. Spirit Thief is a tactical RPG following the explore of Elash, a spell-casting thief who's lost his magic and Trin, his snarky ghost sidekick. The longer Elash spends at a location, the more security he'll have to deal with. Casing the joint, scouting ahead, and staying one step ahead of the guards are all common themes in the gameplay. Spirit Thief will release in 2022, and playtest access can be requested from its Steam page on Steam. Fleet Commander Pacific brings grand naval strategy to the Pacific theater of World War II. Players will choose to command either the Allied or Japanese navies and compete to control strategic sea zones over the course of 10 turns. Each turn represents 4 months, so a lot will happen in each. Raiding ports, intercepting enemy vessels, and even sending marines to take land objectives are all part of the game's overall arc. Engagements have their own battle phases, sure to excite naval history fans who are sick of tanks getting all the attention. Fleet Commander Pacific claims to have included every major surface combat ship from the historical conflict, allowing dedicated recreations or what-if scenarios. It won't be long before it's time to weigh anchor. The game is set to release on 10 of March 2022 on Steam. Now it's time for you to let me know what you think about these games in the comments below. Remember to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and also consider supporting us through our member program, the Patreon page and the Buy Me a Coffee page. Lots of perks and mystery box awaits you. Wish you the best, ciao!